This is a review of our algebra quiz. So if we're solving for n in the equation PV equals nRT, we're trying to isolate n. So we see we have RT that we're going to divide by that RT as a way to get rid of it. So on this right side, the RT over RT cancels off, giving us our n. So n equals PV over RT. On the second problem, we're solving for T2, but T2 is in the denominator. So when we solve for something, it has to be in the numerator. So one way to do this is to multiply both sides by T2. So that's going to cancel off T2 on the right side, giving us only V2. But T2 is still not isolated, so we need to multiply by the inverse of this V1 over T1. So we're going to multiply by T1 over V1 on both sides. So over here, V1 over V1 cancels off, T1 over T1 cancels off, so that leaves the left side equaling to T2. So we have isolated our temperature 2. There's usually more than one way of doing these problems. So another way of doing that second problem we're allowed to flip an equation. So on both sides of the equation, we could do a 1 over. And this one is easy since both sides are fractions. There's no addition to make it more complicated. So this will give us T1 over V1 equals T2 over V2. So now T2 is in the numerator. All that we're going to have to do at this time is multiply by that V2 to get it isolated. So now V2 cancels with V2. So the right side is equal to T2. We have isolated. And compare both answers, we see that we get the same answer. T2 is equal to T1 times V2 over V1. So whenever we follow mathematical rules, we'll get the right answer. We can also check our units. So T2 is going to be Kelvin, T1 is Kelvin, and V2 over V1, this has to have matching units to cancel off. So we'll end up with Kelvin for the proper unit for our answer.